Welcome to a new season of Cozy Moon Podcast. This is season 5 of Cozy Moon. My name is Shan, mom of the girls. This is a podcast where we talk about surviving parenting, the realness about preggo-ness, and giving really good tips on being our best parent and evolving every day. So if that's what you're looking for, you're at the right place. Welcome to Mama Shan Tip or Question. Is it a tip? Or is it a question? Let's see.
Here we go.
Back to the show. Hey there, Shan. Welcome back to Cozy Moon Podcast. This is season 5, episode 3, Kids with Exposure to Domestic Violence. The point for this episode is to speak on what happens when kids are exposed to consistent experiences of domestic violence, what happens to boys versus girls, what happens to both, and how can you help? If this is something that can help you, tune into this episode. Growing up, my dad was emotionally, verbally abusive to my mom. I heard it, I witnessed it. As I got older, what I saw started making more sense in my memory. What I heard made more sense, and why my mom is really lenient, or my mom really shields herself from physical altercations or big issues that come up, how my mom tries to hide and she doesn't want to deal. So it just started to make more sense to me. So as a mom, I'm completely opposite when it comes to that. I'm really hands-on. I stay away from people that think getting physical or being really nasty with their words is the way. It never got physical with my mom and my dad, but seeing my dad put his gun on his desk was a way of him winning an argument, was a way of him saying, okay, if we're going to go any further, it's going to get like this. So he did that a lot. And eventually my mom left and we lived in shelters. At one point in time, my brother and I, we lived in foster care. My mom was on Section 8 for a while, and it didn't get quote unquote normal until I was 13 and we were living in Florida. Fast forward, as an adult, I pick my relationships wisely because of that. My youngest daughter's father brought a level of domestic abuse to me 2 years ago, and it was like a one and done. I didn't stay. I didn't try to fix it. It was like a one and done. Okay, I'm not dealing with you like this one-on-one. It's going to be you, the court, me. You, the court, me, every time. So I ended everything with him. Luckily, she was too young to remember, but my oldest at the time, my 5-year-old, she heard, and that was enough for me. And, with her, she had to go to therapy. I had to talk to her through it. I had to explain things that I shouldn't have to explain to a 5-year-old because of that, because that was someone that was in her life consistently since she was 3 months. And I had to explain to her that, okay, we can't be around him in this way anymore because he doesn't know how to quote unquote behave himself. And that's how I grew up. And that is why I'm very selective as to who is around my kids. I don't get into relationships because I like a person. It has to be more than that. I don't introduce my kids to people that I am talking to, quote unquote, people that I am, quote unquote, maybe possibly getting serious with. It has to be someone that I've known over a period of years before you're just comfortably allowed to be amongst my children. And that is how it should be with a lot of people. But because people don't experience certain things growing up or in their adult life, they think certain issues or things are not possible with them because, quote unquote, they're them. It can happen to anybody. It happens to the best of us. So I'll get into a little about what that may do to a kid. When it comes to kids, what impression does domestic violence leave in their lives once they experienced it, once they've heard it, once they've been exposed to it? For boys, it can do... Well, for boys and girls, it can do a lot of emotional damage. social damage, where they don't want to talk to people, where they are really closed off by people. They don't have a lot of friends because they don't trust anybody. It can do psychological pain, where they don't know how to work through their issues that they have with the people in their past, and they think everyone's out to get them. It can build low self-esteem in girls and boys. It's not just a girl problem. It can build aggressiveness with girls and boys, where they feel super defensive, where they don't want anyone to touch them in a certain way or talk to them in a certain way because they think it's going to lead to something they saw in their past. It can build a lot of loss of hope, loss of trust. Kids may lose interest in school or activities they once loved. They might not care about going to school anymore. They might drop out. They might be very controlling with people they love because they saw other people that were quote unquote in love be controlling to each other. Some kids become more needy because they feel sad or not worth it, or nobody loves me, so I need everybody to love me. I need everybody to like me. They might feel like they need to fix every situation, or they need to fix people, so they gravitate towards friends or people in life that need fixing. They might be very accepting of bad behavior. They might be very accepting of having friends that talk down to them, people that don't love them, but they can't see through it because they're there. They wouldn't be here if they didn't love me, kind of thoughts. They may lack affection. They may continually go for the thing that they say they hate, not knowing that they are the person in the past that dealt with those issues in their adult life. And if you don't want kids to grow into young adults, to grow into teenagers, to grow into people in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s, not healing and not doing the work as like going to therapy, not talking about it, not working through it, not really understanding what a healthy relationship is, as parents, we have to help our kids heal from what we expose them to, from what we can control at a certain time in our lives. But now, because I want to be better as a parent, I want to be better as a mom or as a dad, I got to make sure you're in a position to be better as a son or as a daughter. So you could grow into a great man, so you could grow into a great woman. So any parent out there, if you were ever exposed to domestic violence and you think, oh, my kid is fine, like that was in the past now. If they've never talked to you about it, if you guys never had the conversation about it directly, they are suffering from something that they had to deal with you. And I would go ahead and have that conversation. And if that son or that daughter is really resistant against having that conversation, write them a letter and let them know that, hey, if you want to talk about this, I'm here. If you want to write me and you don't feel comfortable talking to me face to face, I'm here. If you just want to send me a text message, I'm here. But I need to know that you understand what a healthy relationship was. I need you to know that, what you saw in the past, what you heard, or what you seen in the past that I allowed, that I didn't do anything about, I was wrong. And this is what I played in that. And this is what a healthy relationship is. And this is what I want for you. Tell your kids that. So they know, like, that is not acceptable. And because I know that is not acceptable for me, that is not acceptable for you. This is what I want for you as far as like a relationship as a companion. And this is what you should go for. This is where your standard should be. And more parents need to do that, especially when their kids are exposed to any domestic violence, whether it is willing or that was just your life at one point in time. I'm not saying that it's wrong. It's wrong to not get up exactly first time it happens. Some people do stop when it first happens. I did everything I could to to prevent and stop when I first was exposed to it as an adult, especially being a mom of 2 kids. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't have the courage. They don't have the mindset, and emotionally, they're just not there to make that decision. Some people need help. Some people need a push. But if someone is in a domestic violent relationship or situation and themselves do not want to get out of it, you can't help them, because you'll do everything you can to help them get out of that, and they'll go right back. So when it's kids involved, I say do everything you can to help those kids, period. Sometimes that could be that parent not having those kids while they want to be in that relationship. They'll thank you for it later. Okay? Thank you for listening to Closing Room Podcast.